everybody. Thank you so much for requesting this private session of EFT tapping that I'm getting ready to do with Elizabeth. And I believe we're focusing on reactivity today because that's kind of what came through in the podcast as something
It
that would
did.
be transformative and helpful to you. And I
Yes.
would imagine that, and your listeners are probably a lot like us, and it will help them too. So let's see what kind of a shift we can get. I would
I'm
love to
ready.
start by just exploring, how does reactivity show up in your life?
For me, it shows up in my life by a lot of times specific people. I don't mind sharing. My mother-in-law
Okay.
is very much a big trigger for me, and I seem to get this like visceral reaction when I even just get a message, just even a text or an email. I immediately start getting heart palpitations, my palms get sweaty, my chest starts to tighten up. And because she is a person that challenges me, I will, when I'm reading her, after I read a message, usually there's something that's hurtful in there. Um, when we're in person together, she always will say something that is very just cruel things like, um, you cry too much, you talk too much, just kind of taking shots at my personal character all the time that make me
Yeah.
feel like crap. And that, I will be honest, gets me really reactive. I'll find myself like I can tell you a real life example. She sent my husband just a really cruel, negative text message yesterday. And I read it and I started just yelling and I got really worked up and
Are you
um
yelling at her? Are you yelling at the universe? What are you yelling at?
um I notice I'm that's a great question. It seems to be a yelling, at the universe,
Like,
venting almost to the universe about her. In
what's
that,
something that you might yell?
why can't she just leave me alone? I feel often that it's almost like my sense of freedom, which is a very high value of mine, is being
Mhm.
threatened. Um, and I feel just that the story that I've battled with of worthiness and not enoughness is illuminated um, by the things that she says and does.
Okay. Um, so it's mostly her. It's not a whole lot of
That's the
other areas in
biggest
your life.
thing. My mother also my family is just a trigger in general. I
Okay.
react poorly. I don't feel like we fit with each other. And so because there's this polarization and they don't understand me, I get made fun of for my happiness and just my general way of being is not unconditionally loved or accepted. And when I'm around those people, and it's very specifically the moms and the family members that don't
Yeah.
seem to, you know, yeah, seem to elicit those feelings in me.
If I could like wave a magic wand and it was all the way you wanted it to be, how would you show up when your mother-in-law texts you or your family isn't as supportive as you'd like them to be?
I would just feel calm and centered and peaceful inside. And I would address it from a place of more neutrality where, yes, although I can feel the emotion of some potential, hurt or sadness or frustration or irritation, that I can just allow that emotion I can see it, acknowledge it, allow it to just completely transmute, but that while I'm navigating that, I still internally am feeling calm, cool, and collected, and that I don't have this need to verbally get, like, where it's like
Yeah.
this other version of me comes out that doesn't even feel like me. You know, it's like this somebody that's feeling almost like threatened.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's tap on this and see where this
Okay,
goes.
let's tap on this.
So now that you've kind of talked about it a little bit, and maybe even gotten a
Yeah.
little bit more agitated about the whole thing,
Oh, my
where would you
armpits are
say
sweating now.
where would you say you are on like a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is I'm not reactive at all, and 10 is like you don't know what's going to happen if your mother-in-law pings you right now?
um, in this moment or just in general with her?
I mean, in this moment's more important than anything else because, again, like we talked
Okay.
about on the show, the only place you have any power is the present moment.
I'd
So,
say if 10's the most extreme right in this moment, it's getting up there. I'd say 6 or 7.
okay, cool. I'm going to write that down. For those of you who are watching the video and want to tap on your own reactivity, think about something that gets you kind of riled up in the same way that Elizabeth just talked about her mother-in-law. Maybe make a few notes about it and write your number down. And then we're going to tap through this. It's gonna be like
Okay.
follow the leader. So I'm going to
Okay.
tap a place and you're going to repeat after me and we're going to
Okay.
move through it together. And
Great.
for those of you tapping along, you may need to change the words a little bit to align a little bit more with your own situation. And of course, Elizabeth, if you feel like something I'm saying is not on the money at all, then we need
Yeah.
to change it also. Because, like we talked about
Okay.
on the show, this favors specificity. And I still am not a mind reader. So, as much as
Absolutely.
I try to channel and tap into the energy of people that I'm working with, I don't always nail it. And
Of
that's just
course. Me
part of the human
too.
condition. So,
Yeah. Okay.
here we are. So, just start by just taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. Hold it for a moment. Just feel the seat underneath of you, the support, and exhale. And we're going to begin by tapping the side of our hand. Doesn't matter which hand, you can go either way. And repeat after me. Even though I hate how reactive I can get,
Even though I hate how reactive I can get,
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
Even though it seems like it should be easier to respond instead of react.
Even though it seems like it should be easier to respond instead of react.
I honor that it feels really hard sometimes.
I honor that it feels really hard sometimes
And love and accept myself anyway.
and love and accept myself anyway.
And even though I wish I could show up differently when I react
And even though I wish I could show up differently when I react
and be this calm, cool, collected version of myself,
and be this calm, cool, collected version of myself,
I'm open to the idea that it's possible.
I'm open to the idea that it's possible.
And I love myself anyway.
And I love myself anyway.
Now we're going to start moving through some of the other points. All this reactivity.
All this reactivity.
I get so triggered by my family,
I get so triggered by my family,
especially my mother-in-law.
especially my mother-in-law.
The second that text comes in,
The second that text comes in,
I have a visceral reaction.
I have a visceral reaction.
Heart palpitations.
Heart palpitations.
She really challenges me.
She really challenges me.
She threatens who I am.
She threatens who I am.
And so does the rest of my family.
And so does the rest of my family.
Now we're going to the underarm area, kind of like where your bra wraps around your body, if you're wearing
Perfect.
one.
Don't like to, but I am today.
Yeah, me too. I feel you.
I feel like that's the theme.
They can be so hurtful and cruel.
They can be so hurtful and cruel.
And they challenge things that I like about myself.
And they challenge things that I like about myself.
Like I cry too much,
Like I cry too much,
or I'm too happy,
or I'm too happy,
or I talk too much.
or I talk too much.
They threaten my very freedom
They threaten my very freedom
because I can't be me around them
because I can't be me around them
and also be accepted.
and also be accepted.
So sometimes it's just too hard.
So sometimes it's just too hard.
And if I'm not going to talk or cry,
And if I'm not going to talk or cry,
maybe I should just yell.
maybe I should just yell.
Maybe I should just react
Maybe I should just react
because they're not going to listen or accept me anyway.
because they're not going to listen or accept me anyway.
I feel so threatened when I react.
I feel so threatened when I react.
But I'm open to the idea that I might be able to calm down.
but I'm open to the idea that I might be able to calm down.
Really wanting to connect with that peaceful inner self that knows how to respond
Really wanting to connect with that peaceful energy that knows how to respond
and transmute the negativity
and transmute the negativity
and transcend all these little comments that get under my skin.
and transcend all these little comments that get under my skin.
Realizing that my verbal reactivity doesn't help anything anyway.
Realizing that my verbal reactivity doesn't help anything anyway.
Just clearing all this reactivity down to a cellular level.
Just clearing all this reactivity down to a cellular level.
And making room in my heart and my soul and my energy
And making room in my heart and my soul and my energy
for neutrality.
for neutrality.
Because I'm the only one that can allow them to hurt me.
Because I'm the only one that can allow them to hurt me.
And I'm ready to release that.
And I'm ready to release that.
And to welcome this new version of myself that knows how to respond instead of react.
And to welcome this new version of myself that knows how to respond instead of react.
All right, take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just tell me what you're feeling now about the reactivity.
Wow. Very different. I feel like that 6 or 7 is just whoop, just down. I feel better. That
If
was,
you think about your mother-in-law sending you a text message right now.
I feel, I'm not getting the sweaty palms and armpits like I was just a few minutes ago.
Awesome. Awesome. And the real test will be when she does, or when some other
Yes.
family member says something that you would perceive as threatening, how you show up. This isn't as tangible as if we just worked on a headache and now
Yeah.
you're like, headache's gone. This is like a work in progress, like everything else.
Yes.
But just notice for me, if you will, next time that
I want
happens,
to.
how you show up. And
Well, I'm going to keep
maybe you can share.
reporting back to you, and thank you because you just gave me a gift I get to use as a resource for the rest of my life,
My
and
pleasure.
I can't
Hopefully,
wait
for
to
those of you
repay
who,
you.
oh, nothing
I love you.
necessary. Hopefully, for those
Thank
of you who
you.
tapped along, you got some kind of a shift also. Note where you are now on that scale of 1 to 10. Write it down. I love hearing from people, and I'm guessing you love hearing from people too. So if
Yes.
you did this tapping round, please either send me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email, Teresa@teresalearlevine.com. Just let me know like how it went, what you did, what you worked on. I love hearing about that stuff. I geek out on it. Do you want to share a way for people to get in contact with you?
Yes, you can find me. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers, but the best way to find me would be you can shoot me an email at Dr. Elizabeth or Dr. Rodgers at drelizabethrogers.com, or you can head to my website, which is just drelizabethrogers.com with a D and a G.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you all for
Thank you.
tapping along. And thank you for trusting me to lead you through that. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I felt very safe in your energy and very
Oh,
cared for, and I feel so good. So thank you.
good. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you.